I'm with Carl Ludd, who is the Vice President of Global Mercy Chefs. Now, Carl, what is Mercy Chefs?
Yeah, it's Mercy Chefs. It's a faith-based nonprofit organization that we have the honor of being able to respond in the middle of disasters or emergencies or crisis. And our response is to be able to provide chef-prepared, high-quality meals. Families and individuals that in the middle of their chaos or the crisis that they're going through, we want to be able to serve them a hot, fresh, nutritious meal. So, we believe that a lot can happen over a hot meal. And it kind of is a moment and a time for them to meet their immediate physical needs. We all need to eat, and oftentimes in the middle of crisis, our normal means of getting food or making food or preparing a meal is difficult and challenging for families to do. And so we come in and we always partner with local organizations, local ministries to be able to meet those needs. But it also gives an opportunity for more than just their body to be fed, but for them to be able to have a moment of to be able to breathe, to take a moment to hopefully be filled with hope. And yeah, it's just an opportunity for normalcy to come, or the comfort that food can bring. Not just food, but delicious food, a meal of comfort and hope is what we're hoping to give them.
Are you a fully trained chef yourself?
I am not, no. So I enjoy eating food, but I am not a chef. So I have many chefs on my team. So I kind of oversee the logistical side of it and setting up partnerships and kind of getting the rest of the puzzle together so that my chefs can be in the kitchen and producing those quality meals.
When was your organization started and why was it started?
Yeah, so we started in 2006. Founder Gary LeBlanc, he's a well-known chef, and he opened many restaurants and hotels, and so he had decades of experience in the restaurant and hospitality business. And his hometown was New Orleans, and so Hurricane Katrina hit in the United States, and so he wanted to help, and so he responded with a couple other organizations to go and feed. And it just really impacted him how low quality the food was that he was serving to people that had their entire lives turned upside down. He didn't want to just give them, it pained his heart that they were being fed hot dogs or soup out of a can or just food that was meeting the nutritious needs of them, but there was no dignity in it. And it didn't come with that level of hope and that level of breakthrough that he wanted to actually serve. As a chef, he wasn't proud of what was being delivered, and so he said there's got to be a better way to do this, a way that actually puts quality and gives these people a meal that they'd be proud of and that they actually enjoy eating. So he just started doing it himself, running his own credit card and just making it happen, and with some friends and things. And it's grown from that to now we're in almost a dozen different nations around the world, responding to dozens of different events every year. I think we've done millions and millions of meals, and so it's just amazing the favor that he's had on his life to do this, and also the need and the impact that it's able to have on so many individuals and families in their moments of greatest need.
Now you're here in Israel. Why are you here in Israel?
Yeah, we're here in Israel. We got here 2 days after the war began, when the terrorists originally came in. Our heart is to serve wherever there's need and wherever people are hurting. And so we're here, and we're honored to be able to serve in the midst of this crisis, of this conflict that's happening, to serve Israelis that are hurting and in pain, both, physical and the trauma of it. A lot of our meals, a majority of them are going down to Ashkelon, where people are still in bomb shelters for over 3 weeks. They're living in these bomb shelters and obviously not able to make food in there. So instead of them having to just eat what they can get or out of cans or pre-made food, we're honored to bring them hot, delicious dinners that they can sit down with their families. And we've gotten to build friendships with them over these 3 weeks. But that's why we're here, and we're honored to partner with the local Israeli organizations, like Firm, and we're here at Baptist Village and Netiva. There's so many that we've been able to just come alongside. We wouldn't be able to do any of what we're doing without those local partners that are really the hands and feet that make it happen. We're able to bring in a couple of our chefs with the expertise on how to produce high quality but high quantity meals, and then have those local organizations and congregations being the ones that actually make the deliveries that bring it to the people that need it most.
How many meals have you been preparing a day?
Right now, we're doing about 1,700 meals every day.
Well, you've been delivering grocery boxes. Have you been doing that while you've been under fire and delivering these meals while you've been under fire from rockets above?
Yeah. So yeah, we often have to hang out in those bomb shelters longer than we anticipated because the rocket barrage is coming. It's just a small taste of what those people are actually living through every day. And so, we the luxury of putting ourselves in it and being able to pull out where those people are living in it, and they don't know when it's going to end. They don't know when they're going to be able to get out. They don't have another option. And so, yeah, we experience it on a small level, but I'm sure it's nothing compared to what those people are living with 24 hours a day.
What's it like,
But yes, we are doing grocery boxes. Sorry?
what's it like, and what do you have to do when there's a rocket above? Do you have to get out the car and find a shelter, or do you just stay in the car?
Yeah, so when we're driving and the sirens start going off and the alarms start going off on your phone, yeah, you have to pull over and you get out of your car and you find what shelter you can. If we're at a location, or if we're, it happens when we're with our suppliers shopping, gathering the supplies to be able to prepare these meals. And everybody kind of is very helpful and kind of shows you where the closest shelter is. And you go and you shelter with complete strangers and have a moment together. And then the sirens stop and you're able to go about your business. And it's a weird thing, but it's also, I have the honor of being able to respond to conflict zones, to war zones all over the world. And it's this weird dichotomy of seeing some of the worst of man, to know that that humans are doing this to other humans. It's hard to reconcile in your brain. And at the same time, you see the most beautiful generosity of humans as well. And people from different backgrounds, and different languages and different religions coming together and linking arms and serving together and serving one another. And so you see the worst of man and the best of man somehow all the same moment. And it's a tragic thing and also a beautiful thing somehow together.
Are you providing meals for emergency responders as well?
Yeah, on a smaller scale. So most of our meals are going to families that are directly affected. But as we see need and as we have opportunity, that's a big priority of Mercy Chefs is not just feeding people that are directly affected by these events, but people that are trying to help, that are responding, emergency workers, volunteers. We're feeding a lot of volunteers that come together to help make these meals, but also are producing grocery boxes or packages for people, for responders and things like that. So, we don't, oftentimes those people that are giving and laying their lives down during these moments, they need help as well and support. And the families that are left at home, the moms that are now scrambling because their husbands are gone or been called up, how we can support them as well is something that we're actively doing.
Is this showing the love of Christ to our Jewish neighbors?
I hope so. Our goal in everything we do, I am a Christian, and I firmly believe that my King Jesus would be serving his neighbors, his loved ones, and even his enemies. He served, he loved, he went low, he was humble. And so our goal is, we don't want to have an agenda with what we do, but we know that what we do has an impact. And so I don't need to say anything, but I know that, just handing somebody a hot meal and just letting them know that, I care, that the world cares, that they're not alone in this, it has a significant impact, I believe.
What sort of response do you get from the people?
It's different, but I mean, so much gratitude and thankfulness. We've had people look at their meal and start just crying because it's the first real meal they've had, sometimes in days. We get kids that, they see a big plate, a big bowl of grapes or fresh fruit, and they just light up with smiles. We just see people overwhelmed with gratitude and thankfulness. We sometimes get like this puzzled look of like, why are you doing this? Or like, even when it's not a meal, but when we're at the grocery store and people ask me like, what are you doing? Like, why are you buying 500 kilograms of chicken? Like, what is this for? Or people like, you came for the war, like you came when this happened, you're not here for vacation. There's this puzzled look, but always gratitude and gratefulness.
Do people get to share their stories with you?
Yeah, oftentimes I've gotten to hear pretty incredible stories. My team, they get to hear a lot more because they're often the ones that get more face to face with people. I get as much as I can, but coordinating everything, I don't have as much time. But yeah, some of the stories are just truly tragic, what these people live through, what the children are experiencing and living through, and what's becoming normal for these children. It's truly tragic.
This is a dangerous and difficult time. Why did you feel the need to come here?
I think it's in dangerous and difficult times where me as a Christian, or in a larger sense, the body of Christ, or the community of believers, it's the moments like these that we actually get to see our God shine the most. And there's that old saying that says, for evil to triumph, the only thing needed for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. And so if we let fear or inconvenience or, the possibility of danger hold us back from doing what we know is right, or meeting needs that is evident in front of us, then that's a way to lose, not win. And for me personally, I've encountered my God the most in the midst of crisis, in the midst of chaos, in the midst of devastation and a storm. Whether it be a political storm or a natural storm or a storm of conflict and war, our God is the Lord of the storm, and he's there. The Bible tells us, there's stories of Jesus walking on the water. He didn't do that in a calm day. Like, he did that in the midst of a storm, and he invited his disciple to come out into that storm with him. He didn't calm the storm and say, okay, now you can come, the danger's gone. When Peter walked on the water with Jesus, it was in the midst of the waves. It was in the midst of the wind. And so I think there is an opportunity, an invitation for us as believers to step into these moments of danger and chaos and partner with God to see him glorified somehow in the midst of it.
What is your prayer finally for the people of the land at this moment?
Obviously, my prayer is for peace. My prayer is for the Lord's goodness to prevail, for a covering. That so many times we see moments like this mark generations, and we see this repetitive thing happen, and my prayer is that this somehow the Lord would use this moment to mark a generation, not in a way that causes them to prolong this or to do this further, but mark a generation to stop these things from happening, to be motivated by compassion and love. Yeah. And so I think that's my prayer. Sometimes my prayers are a lot more me processing with God than coming and thinking I have the answers. It's a humbling thing to realize, like, oh, there's so many complexities and challenges. I don't have answers, but I know in the midst of it, there's hurting people that I have the opportunity to sit with and pray with, and hopefully on those individual basis, we can make a difference. When I start looking at the big scale of it, I don't see I think, oh, what can I do? But then when I see just one person, like, okay, Lord, show me how to love that one person well in this moment.
What's your website for people who'd like to know more about your work?
Yeah, it's mercychefs.com. And so you can go there, find us. Mercy Chefs Global is kind of our global branch that works internationally. But we also do a lot of domestic work in the United States as well.
Well, okay, Cal, thank you very much for sharing your work.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me and asking questions, and appreciate all you're doing, Paul.